Each week when we would access the Share to Teach website, we would read through the materials that were there and meet together and brainstorm some ways that we wanted to make it work with our students. So we really based our lessons on what was on the Share to Teach, but we'd use the slides and sort of tweak them. We did a lot of brainstorming, and then we taught the lesson to one of our classes, and Phil would team teach with us, and then we would go to the next person, and we took turns going first. Yeah. It was really effective. It's always, 3 brains are better than 1, and we really made the lessons engaging, and the kids learned a lot from them.
Another nice thing was that we all had our understandings of the information that's on Share to Teach,
yes.
But it was nice to be able to kind of clarify,
yes.
and to kind of teach each other a little bit about what we were learning,
yes.
before we took it to the kids and put it in front of the
right.
students.
Because it was new for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the students knew that we were going to the workshops. Every other week. They knew we were not in the classroom, so they were excited to find out what we had learned and to bring it back here to the classroom, and then they got to try what we had, we said, when we tried this, we did this, after they had had a chance to do it. So they were like, whoa, this is something you guys had done. So that was really fun for them to get to learn what we were doing, not just that we were going away every other week.
Right. And the kids knew that it was fresh and it was exciting. And something a little bit different, and they were really excited. They're still very excited when Mr. Phil walks into the room.
Right. It's true. Yeah.
Ooh, what are we going to do now? So one of the things that we learned from the Share to Teach website was about automation. So we had the kids practice automation by dumping a pile of Unifix cubes onto the carpet, and then they had to make pairs. So they had to and they had to be
specific,
like blue with a white on the top. And then we set a timer. Maybe?
Yeah, I had a metronome on the
that's
iPad.
right. So we had to have them just build these cubes, and it was really boring, and they were kind of looking at us like, what are we doing?
I think it was fun at first.
Yep.
And then they were like, oh, how many are we doing?
Yeah.
Because
they're used to building, Unifix trains clear across the room, so to just put 2 together was really boring.
And it had specific guidelines.
Yes.
It had to be specific colors.
So then when we moved into making a robot, we had the Share to Teach idea was to have them use a big box and make a big robot head, which would be super fun, but we had a lot of other things going on, so we decided that we would make a headband. So the kids each made a headband and then when they put the headband on, they were the robot.
And the other one was the programmer.
Right, and their partner was the programmer, and then they switched.
So one of the ways we would plan I think we started on Mondays. So we would learn everything the previous Wednesday, and then we had 2 weeks to follow through with our lesson. So we would meet that Monday and review what was on Share to Teach, but then we would create a shared document that we could create our presentation in. So as we were talking, all 3 of us at the same time could be adding in notes. So presentation notes, and I'm going to put here a slide, but we wouldn't have all the photos yet, but we would have a note saying add on off switch here, add cell phone here, whatever it might be. So so that was really useful, and then it would be interesting to probably look at the history, because it changed over the course of teaching it 4 times. So it wasn't just taught in each of our kindergarten classrooms or with our 5- and 6-year-olds, but it was also taught in each neighboring classroom. So we have 4 classrooms of the same age group, and so we wanted to keep the curriculum consistent among all 4 classrooms, even though the other 2 teachers weren't part of the Share to Teach experience. Their students still got to be a part of it, because Phil would be the lead teacher going into those classrooms instead of us doing the co-teaching with him. And then he would teach the lesson, and they would assist as they, maybe they were the scribe writing the notes from the thinking routine, or getting the materials out, and but I think the lessons presented themselves in a way that even though they hadn't gone through all of the information with us and the course and the activities, they could quickly jump in and assist and
well, they could see the connections, and they got a really a good understanding of the concepts of the teaching points that we were presenting, and really for me it was they were able to make connections to other curriculum that they were teaching, like the how-to writing prompts that you were doing.
And we added in some different videos and things that really tied in well with our writing unit on how to. So I think it was a very good connection, and because our classrooms are doing very similar things, it seemed pretty seamless among the 4 classes.
It was.
It was really exciting and really refreshing to teach something new. It really tied in with a lot of the thinking routines that we've been doing this year, but those are also new. So that was kind of exciting. And you're right, our curriculum is jam-packed. We have a lot going on, but this was, I think, really, really worthwhile because it really allowed the kids to stretch their thinking. And it wasn't out of the reach of anyone.
No. Even our English as additional language learners, they could easily access it because they've seen computers, they've seen smartphones, they could, they understood the automation, that sort of thing. They seem to really get a good understanding.
And it wasn't dependent on understanding
vocabulary
or letters or
truly
numbers.
Hands-on, a lot of hands-on and whole body, which was.
And I think everyone could see how exciting it was, and they were very engaged, the students and the teachers. And if you come excited, like I get excited about teaching math, and so they see that we're excited about teaching computer science. So our enthusiasm, I think, makes them interested.
Well, and I think what was fun for me was to be able to teach with you. And it was new for us as well as for the students, so they got to see us kind of grapple with these concepts.
Yes.
It's like, should we, or what did we learn this? And it was just kind of nice for them to see, they're learning it too, and they're going to make some mistakes.
I think they didn't see us as the experts.
No.
Which, ideally they don't anyway, in our teaching so much, but that they are also, so I think they definitely felt like we were all learning together.
But the Share to Teach gave us such a nice framework that we didn't have to be experts. We could come in with this base of understanding and develop it along the way, but also give the students a good framework to learn with them.
And a lot of parents said that their kids were talking about it at home too.
I heard of that
and trying
too.
things out at home.
Yes.
So that was fun to see as well, or to hear about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then one day, a dad brought me that tablet, just open tablet, and they said they took it apart at breakfast.
Purposefully. On purpose.
It didn't work.
It was broken. It was already broken.
Yeah. But just that they were taking it home. They were taking those ideas home
and using them.
trying them at home.
Yeah.
So.
In this current class, I have 13 students, 6 girls, 7 boys. I didn't really see a difference at all. They all wanted to do it. They all wanted to jump in. When we take things apart, they all want to take things apart. So I don't think so. And kids that I thought would maybe not be as involved just because of they're maybe a little more hesitant around new things also jumped in. So I didn't notice a difference, but
I didn't really either. I had one little girl that wasn't as interested in building these kinds of things, but she's not interested in building anything. So we've done other building projects, and that's just not her thing. it's difficult for her to like cut heavy cardboard, and she's tiny.
Motor
so
skills and-
yeah,
yeah,
so that it's just not her thing. But in terms of the automation activity or the taking apart the computer or the robot thing, she was right in. All of the girls were right into that.
And a lot of my girls are and boys as well, very creative. So this whole like where they could create their own prototypes, design and create, they just went with. I mean, the more tape, the better, and the more, different gadgets and things to put on. So I think that appealed to them because we had fun, dazzling kind of materials to work with too. But I mean, when I say, it's cardboard and
foam,
and pipe cleaners and recycled bottle caps. Like it's not like.
But it was really exciting.
But there were interesting things. Yeah. I think, like Phil was saying, there's plenty of information in Share to Teach that gives you the basics. And maybe it gets more difficult as the kids get older and they have more information, but you can also learn from them. So I did not feel intimidated going into the lesson because I had all the information beforehand. So plus we had each other to work with. So
I also think that even when they were asking questions, like when we had the computer open and they were saying, well, what is that for? What is that for? What is that for? And I didn't know. But I could say, what do you think? And then they could say what they thought. And it didn't matter if it was right or wrong. We never really got to the end of, oh, well, it has to be the RAM or whatever. And we made up our own names for things. What do you think that does? And, oh, well, that's connected to this. Or so they really figured it out on their own, and I didn't ever feel like I needed to be the expert with this age group.
And that was emphasized in teaching to us, and when the lesson was taught to us, that it didn't matter what everything was called.
Right.
The communication was the key.
And the connection.
And the connection of how things get communicated. So I don't think I was freaking out about what the different parts were called because of that.
Well, and I should say, even though my title is technology integrationist, I've been a classroom teacher for 17 years and out of the classroom now for 7. So that's my, just like you, that's my my experience has been mostly just teaching all the curriculum, and so I even though technology is in my title, I'm not a computer scientist, and so this was all very accessible and friendly, and it just actually makes me want to learn more because it's just fun, and I see how fun it is for the students. When you go in, and they're just like eating it up.
Right.
It's like, well, I need to know more about this so that I can keep going with it.